NATO meeting is just a few hours away. President Trump set to deliver some tough remarks to the group he once called obsolete, claiming member countries weren't doing enough or paying enough to address terrorism specifically. So will his tough talk get these nations to pull their own weight? Here to weigh in, former White House press secretary under President Bush, Ari Fleischer. Ari, they've already shown a willingness to spend or listen. Am I correct?
Yes and no. You still have a situation where 23 of the 28 NATO nations are not paying the 2% of their budget on defense as required to be a member of NATO. They've said collectively they'll have a 40% increase, but still most nations are going to be below the 2% threshold, almost all still. It remains a problem. Trump was right to point it out, and he should keep his foot on the gas and make 28 out of 28 pay their fair share.
Was it smart to have the brushback pitch of saying obsolete, don't know America's role right now?
Yes, it was, because here's why, and I say this as a very establishment Republican who's an internationalist. Every president of both parties for decades has tried to get NATO to pay their fair share. They are polite, and they never do it. You needed an outsider like Donald Trump to come in and break the mold, because that's the only thing that's shaken them up to make them think they should do it.
What's the difference that you see what President Trump should be taking from this trip as opposed to what he was doing prior to that, which was a full-time turbulent operation?
Great way to put it. Look, this has been a shining success for Donald Trump so far, and the reason is he had something he wanted to say, and he stuck to what he wanted to say, and he had the pictures in the background to match. He needs to do that domestically. He needs to give policy speeches domestically. He needs to travel around the country and give a speech about what tax reform means to this group, to that group, what fixing and repealing Obamacare can mean to this group and that group, and do it domestically. And lay off the offensive tweets. You notice there have been none of that on this trip, and it's all to his good.
It would be great if he would just say, I will not tweet anything unless somebody screens it first. 50% of his problems would probably go away. He's got one area of confrontation. It's the Paris Agreement. His own staff, his family is split. The Pope is pushing for him to leave it. Steve Bannon says you promised not to. What should he do?
Well, typically presidents have their own ideas, and so you don't have to let the staff divide, and that's one of the reasons there's so many leaks, because the president knows what his policy is and the staff adheres to it. You know, he has to decide, was he for it or against it? And this is dealing with global warming. And he's got to decide, are we going to pull out or are we going to stay in? Only presidents can make those calls. I don't know what he's going to do on this trip. He may obfuscate and then kick it down the road so he can come back and not know what he's doing.
Staff changes?
I think it's inevitable. I just think when you read what's going on behind the scenes, you just get the sense that he's so frustrated that something's got to give. And sometimes, Brian, I tell you, I'm in the mindset, let him have everybody around him who does it his way. He needs to be comfortable. He is the president. He's trying to shoehorn in experienced Washington people into an operation that just kind of rejects their advice.
Chuck Schumer just passed out on that comment. More Donald Trumps around Donald Trump.
Let him rise or fail doing it his way.
Okay. Ari Fleischer, it was great to see you. Great job last night on The Specialist. All right. All right.